Conversations, Cocktails, and Connections. I'm Emily Reeves, and with me is Amy Hester, of course. And today, our special guest and friend is Kim Meyer-Webb. Kim is editor of Inviting Arkansas, our local philanthropic media publication. She's also a woman about town, a great supporter of local businesses, a former ballerina, and a whole lot of fun to hang out with. Welcome, Kim. What's in your glass?
Glad to be here. Well, a little Corona crazy. So that just means, bubbles on a Monday.
Nice.
Amy, what you got?
I've got an old faithful here, a little red wine, Pinot Noir.
Okay, well, before we do anything else, let's toast Red Beauty Lounge.
Yes.
To the safest and most fabulous women in all the town, making other women beautiful.
Oh, you're too kind. Oh my God.
Very, very necessary.
What are you having, Emily?
Oh, I've got an old fashioned. My husband, Matthew, made me an old fashioned tonight, and I'm very excited. I've been craving it for like a week. I've been wanting one.
He is a ex-restaurateur.
That is true.
He does know how to make the cocktails. So I'm sure it's delicious.
It is. It's very good.
All three. Cheers, guys.
Yay.
Cheers.
So I was very excited to actually get an actual hard copy.
Well, we usually bring them by.
Oh, I know.
Personally, but of course that didn't quite work out this night. So we're making special deliveries, and I'm glad that you got one.
I did. I mean, we have all magazines put up. I mean, we took all magazines, and it makes me mad because there's so many good new magazines right now. Like all the new,
monthly.
I mean, I'm like, they're just kind of stuffed away, and I'm like, oh, but yeah, for the good of for the health of everybody.
Yes. Yeah, Kim, how has magazine publishing been the last couple of months? What are y'all doing to adapt?
Like every small business in America, not just Central Arkansas, we've all become little nonprofit entities over the past weeks. And with that in mind, our business plan and kind of our model, while we still celebrate philanthropy and civic leadership, it's evolved a little bit because, we have so many clients and friends in the community that need our support more than ever before. And as small businesses supporting small businesses, we went into kind of crisis mode of helping figure out ways for restaurants to better service their clients and their customers, and certainly innovate their whole model into something that they probably never planned, which was curbside pickup and, a little bit of wine and beer to go.
Yeah.
So our social media platforms, which have always been a really integral part of what we do at Inviting Arkansas, since we are a social magazine, have become even more important and, more, I think, authentic than ever before, because we're just out doing everything we can, just like everybody else. We're all in it together, and we just have to lift each other up and find ways to evolve our businesses and innovate our services to be able to continue to be relevant.
I know. That's the scariest part is just the unknown. And I mean, with you guys, being a local, beautiful magazine, I'm going to hold it up again. It's a large, beautiful, I love the colors on this issue. But I mean, you guys put a lot of work into all of the fundraisers around town. And I mean, that has kind of changed too. How do you, what do you foresee happening with all of that?
Well, it's been real interesting for us, and we're so fortunate in the sense that we really are a small business, and we're very nimble and we can adapt quickly. So many of our friends and partners in the nonprofit community that are continuing to try to just change their fundraising efforts have gone to virtual meetings and to Zoom, and Empty Bowls on Friday was hosted on THV in the morning with a kind of like a telethon that went on all day. to help raise necessary support and even more critical support for our hungry neighbors in Arkansas that, there's more and more of them. Yeah. So we've been able to, because of the strong network that we have, just stay in communication and do everything that we can possibly do to continue our kind of core business model, which is reminding all of our constituents why they need to give, why they need to support, and what that means to making the capital city even brighter and better than it's been before.
I've noticed all of the support that you guys have given to the local restaurants, mostly because I follow the local restaurants on social media and your picture pops up on all of their accounts. And I'm like, is that Kim Webb? I think Kim Webb is there. Kim,
today in her professional local business supporter shirt.
Exactly. With your like fun sunglasses and a fun hat and a scarf. Just like,
which we should tell people that's why we are supporting Kim and abiding by our scarf today. Which, that was one question, not to like go away from what we were talking about, but that's your thing. You're a scarf girl. And I love that about you because it's such a fun. So I just bought like about 4 vintage scarves on eBay. Okay, you have to tell me your favorite way to tie it. Because sometimes I feel like I'm like, am I doing? Is this an okay way to go?
It depends. So, little shout out to our friends at Mr. Wiggs. They have kind of like pocket squares that are handkerchiefs, and so there are smaller scarves, and you can really just kind of wrap it and tie it and be done with it. Then a larger, if your vintage scarves are a little bit larger, I can tell that you kind of wrapped yours around twice, because I do like, I always like not too much of a tail, but just enough to show off some of the design.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. Do you ever wear them like kind of full in the front?
I do. I've got so many great scarves that some are vintage, and Barbara Jean always has great scarves that are within most of our means. And so I've got all different sizes, all different shapes and patterns, and they're I like them because you can kind of dress up. I mean, I have on a t-shirt and I'm like, well, let's put on a scarf. All of a sudden, I don't know, it takes it up a notch.
Like you can take a t-shirt and a scarf, throw in some sunglasses, some red lipstick, and you're like, I'm glamorous.
Well, ready to go.
I'm feeling inspired. Y'all might see me in scarves every time from now on.
Then we can wear scarves.
You can like quarantine mask yourself and
important.
I mean, hey. But,
all right. Well, Kim, I'm shifting subjects, but how's your husband Daniel handling all of the quarantine? Because we're
spending a lot of time in our yard. This is the year.
That was thinking my next question.
I know.
Well, y'all are very good in the garden.
Yeah, and so,
are you doing differently?
Well, we have unloaded 3 trucks of mulch in our front and backyard. So we did a lot more time prepping than we might have otherwise done.
Yeah.
If the world hadn't kind of taken a pause. We usually have an Easter brunch in the backyard, and so that accelerates getting a lot of things done right after winter into spring. And this year we haven't really had to rush that, so there was just a lot more prep work that we were able to do and really have the time to do it, because it's like, what else are you going to do? You're going to walk around Hillcrest and you're going to work in your garden.
Yeah.
And, maybe have a glass of bubbly.
So Matt was not here one day, and I was in the backyard, and I was walking on the stones, not in the yard, and stepped on a snake. Yay! I'm scared of snakes. I'm just gonna tell you. And I remember, it wasn't huge or anything, but it slithered, and it's a snake. I almost feel like if somebody could have seen a video, probably would have won like a lot of money on some kind of like contest. But then This was like last week or the week before. And then last night he pulls out the phone. He's like, I'm going to show you this. You're not going to want to see this. I'm going to show you this picture. And it's the snake and it's alive and it was out there. He goes, it was just hanging out and it's called a ribbon. It's not venomous. And it has like two white stripes kind of on the side is what I remember. I'm like, I don't care if it's non-venomous or whatever, but I still don't really want to see it. But it was very interesting that he's like, oh, it has to stay there because it's going to eat bugs. And
they're good for your garden.
I don't know.
Amy,
Scary.
were you barefoot or did you have shoes on?
I had on my Uggs, but I did scream really loudly and I ran. It was like first thing in the morning. Like, I don't know, during the quarantine, if it's nice outside, I'll get like, because I don't drink coffee, I drink Coke Zero. I'll get my Coke Zero. I might have been still in my pajamas with my Uggs on.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around like, oh, it's so nice. And then it was like this jump, scream, run thing. And then every time I walk by that one spot, I literally am like this.
Yes.
Still there somewhere.
Mm-mm.
So we had a family of raccoons in our attic during this little quarantine.
Oh no.
A whole new picture. Speaking of a little bit of squealing and pandemonium.
We had one in our house.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're gonna fall through the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like a bowling alley.
Yeah. Have you gotten them
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes.
What was that process?
Well, so we knew something was in like the attic that we don't have access to, but we didn't know what it was. So I called my critter ritter friend, Brett Crow, who is very, yeah, because he's very humane.
Yeah.
And so he was going to come over and we set the appointment. Well, then the night before he was coming, I saw the raccoon getting into the attic. And when he called, I was like, I know what he says, oh, it's great. It's a raccoon. Easy peasy. Not so much. He comes in and puts the eviction page. Do you know about this? Do you know about this, Amy?
Yes. Well, actually, we didn't do the eviction paste because we, why did we do that? I think we had to just go ahead and lay a trap over the hole, which was super sad because they didn't, maybe they did that first and it didn't work. And then they like held the trap over the hole and it was suspended in the air. And I came home and it was like, it was sad.
No.
But it was fine, but still.
There was nothing, there were not really any sad feelings about this episode because we thought she left. He said, there's going to be some commotion. And so just be prepared. So what we thought was commotion, I reported to him and they came back and kind of covered the hole. Well, Mama came back and she was not pleased that she could not get in that hole. So by the time she got in the hole, she was going bananas. It was the first time we heard the babies. They were screaming like little birds.
Oh my God.
And it was late on a Friday evening and Daniel was in the back watching TV and I was in the bedroom reading and I was like, what is he doing in the kitchen? Like there's so much commotion. And I got up, no Daniel. And then I'm like, holy bananas. The raccoon had gotten into the main part of the attic and was running like across the attic door because we have a pull down. I was sure she was going to fall through the attic door. So by the time Daniel gets up to see what's happening, I'm holding the broomstick to the ceiling, like squealing. And yeah, we barricaded ourselves in the bedroom with a bookcase because we live in Hillcrest where the doors don't really close. We were positive she was going to fall into the house and then like wreak havoc everywhere. So, yeah, so then Brett came back and then he found where the babies were, but he wanted to leave them there so that the mama would come back and get them. So then the next night there was more commotion, but not as crazy as when she came back and she was real mad. And then he came back the next day and there was just one little baby left in the attic. He put it in a little cage and took it.
Oh, you saw the babies?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem quite so cute to me after all of the after our relationship that we built, but it was real sweet. And he took it to like a rehab. One of his friends like raises raccoons, and I mean, it was just a little baby. He said probably 3 weeks old. It didn't even have its eyes open.
Oh, well, that's good though that you got it early.
And that, no, everyone's fine.
They so with us, we had to have, they were like, well, we're gonna have to come up here and fog and spray this. And I was like, what do you mean spray? What are you talking about? Fleas. You have dogs, right? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
If they have been up there, they can lay flea eggs in the attic insulation. And so I was like, oh my.
Yes. That is Brett. He goes, if you notice any bugs, just let your Curry's man know.
Yeah. Well, we let him spray but I would think I was more worried because we are dog people and they had to sleep with us. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. And at the time we had carpet and I was thinking, that's all we need is carpet and like fleas in the carpet.
Yeah.
Coming down from the attic. But yeah, it was crazy. That was like our welcome present when we moved into this house. And if our freaking homeowner that we bought this house from didn't know that thing was there, bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it took 20 years for this raccoon to find its way from the rain drain to that house. But it was a lot. It was a little bit of like the Griswold family Christmas where the
squirrel comes out like into the face. Yeah.
So what have your beauty routines been during your quarantine? Have you done anything special to yourself?
Gosh, without events or working in the office with friends and colleagues and clients, I would say probably my routine has been more wellness than makeup. I have not been able to come to my beauty bar at the Red Lounge, so I did depend on my friends at Barbara Jean to hook me up with some at-home products that were really great. So that's another thing that I'm hoping as we transition out of this time where maybe you have a little more time for self-care, we can continue with some of the good habits.
Yeah.
Lots of sunscreen because we've been walking so much, and lots of water just to hydrate. And
I feel like with we've talked, Emily and I spoke about this yesterday, I think, about just how, or when we were talking to Bart, we just got to talking about how like there's less pollution and the air is cleaner. And it's like, well, people aren't putting as much makeup on because they're not going anywhere. It's like, okay, we're letting our face air out.
Yeah.
Nails.
Oh my God, I just painted my nails yesterday. It feels like $1 million. And I did it myself, but I haven't had them on because I've been working in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had the longest time ever without polish on, ever in my entire life.
Which is probably good for you too.
Yeah.
Like,
I
think great.
like, oh my God. But I mean, it's kind of like given but not saying there's nothing good about this quarantine, but it's like the air's cleaner. Our body is like, our skin is probably a little getting a break from everything. Our nails are getting a break. I mean, you're just kind of like, hey, like listening to, I don't know, it's just different.
I would like to say that I am no longer gray as of today because of Amy is now reopened and I feel so much younger.
Well, you look fabulous.
Oh, well, thank you. It's all because of Amy.
That's it.
It's been interesting to see because typically when people stay on their schedule, you only see maybe like this much of the gray if they come in. Emily might have had a little bit more.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
I don't do much with this. And even the other day, Daniel was like, are you going to be getting a haircut soon? Like, do I look like a lady that drives the bus on South Park? It's happening, but that's okay.
Have you been watching anything like spectacular that we should know about?
We're still searching for that spectacular. We've watched some old vintage movies that we maybe wouldn't have pulled out. Some James Bond and Lauren Bacall, just good old-fashioned classics. And we watch a lot of travel, especially now that you wonder when we're going to be able to travel again. So Anthony Bourdain, even though we've seen them all, you can watch them again because there's always something that maybe you didn't catch the first time, and it transports you, and it's arty and intellectual. So
did you watch that on Netflix, sorry my dog, the fat, salt, oil, heat, or whatever it was? It was like it's fat, salt,
bitter, salt, bitter, something. I know what you're talking about.
It's a 4-part series, and it's based on her book, her cookbook. And she goes to Italy for fat. She goes to Mexico for heat. She goes to Japan for salt, and then somewhere in California for the other one. Did you watch that, Kim?
I haven't not seen that.
Okay, so I think you would like that if you like Anthony Bourdain and that kind of stuff.
We're always for good.
She's super passionate about the food, and she's just like this delightful person that gets so excited and happy, and it's really good. But it's like fat, salt, heat, and
fat, salt, acid, heat.
Acid, heat, yeah. So acid is Mexico, heat is California, I think.
Right.
And so she says that those are the 4 elements in every food that you cook, and like you kind of like mix up the different,
Pretty sure I like all of it.
It's
and
so
you have
good.
a whole different creation.
Yeah. Y'all need to watch that. You'll love it.
Okay.
That is
good.
definitely in the quarantine thing is food and drinking too. I like both.
And we've been doing puzzles at our house on our dining room table, and there's been more time to read. So, well, you're an avid reader, Emily, but I don't ever seem to read as much as I would like to. But sometimes it's just hard to pick the perfect book.
Yeah.
And I have read some good ones. And I'll tell you, the Reese Witherspoon Book Club is a good resource just to get suggestions and kind of narrow it down. And then you might discover a new author that you can, follow after you read that one recommended book.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, I am an avid reader, but I have this huge stack of books that at one point I was like, okay, this is going to be a good book. So I bought it. So I have this huge stack to read. And then I go to pick one up and I'm like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this one. Or I'll start one and I'm like, I don't know why I thought I would like this. Maybe it's just now's not the time. Like you kind of have to find the right book at the right time.
You're mood.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So what have you read lately that you really liked?
Gosh, I'll tell you a real unexpected favorite was Daisy Jones and the Six.
Okay, so see, that's one I've bought, but I keep starting it and haven't finished it yet.
It's kind of written like a script, which is real different for me. But I loved it. So it was interesting.
So
but yeah.
As a non-reader, I don't read a lot. But for you guys being readers, are you ones to start more than one book at a time, or do you oh, I'm gonna read this for a little bit and then I'm gonna switch, or do you finish a book and then go to the next one?
So I jump around. I usually have multiple books going at once, and I jump around between them, kind of depending on what my mood is or the time of day, or just general. What about you, Kim?
I'm a one book girl.
Yeah.
So, but I also, in more recent years, have decided, if you get 100 or 150 pages into a book and you're just not feeling it, it's all right. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, let it go.
Just pass it along to someone else. I love it, and that's part of what I really have tried to do as my reading is picked back up, because I end up always buying books. They're hard to borrow from the library, but then you can lend them and you can give them and you can share them. And all of a sudden, it feels like it's a gift to someone. If a really good book, and you're like, you're going to love it. And I had one of my girlfriends do that last summer. She said, you have to read this book. I don't care what you think. And it was Where the Crawdads Sing, and it had never appealed to me. And it was really good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I do that. Like, if I have a physical book, I tell people, like, I'm not going to press a book on you, but if you see that I've like posted about a book or something and it's a physical book and you want to read it, just message me and the book is yours.
Right.
I take them off my shelf and I want to share the books that I like. So, like, seriously, this is my announcement here too. If you see the book and I've posted it and I liked it, please message me and you can have the book.
There you go.
I'll become your library. Don't give it back to me. My dad sends them back to me. Like, stop.
I like physical books. Do you know when I was a kid, this was like, I remember, I would look at and read books when I was a kid and everything, but one of my favorite little gifts that I got as a kid were these little cards that were like, they were like sticky cards and you could put it and it had your name on it. And this book,
Okay.
Stationery and stuff and note cards like that,
Yeah.
Speaking of cards, most everybody who's known me for a while knows I love to write cards and mail cards.
So good at thank you notes.
I'm so good at it.
Well, April is National Letter Writing Month, and I happen to be in this club, the Little Rock Letter Writing Society, I think, and it's just a group that gets together and like does that. It's actually kind of artsy craftsy. They have stamps and you write your cards and you mail your cards, and she has these fabulous postage stamps on top of just rubber stamps. Anyway, so during the month of April, I wrote a card every day and mailed it. And it worked out because, I had a little more free time on my hands.
That is really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You are always, personally, because we've done work for inviting and helped inviting and stuff, but I'm always so impressed in the fact that you are so on it and with your thank you notes. And it's not just like a generic thank you note. I always feel like you're just kind and it's legible, and you imagine how many you like write, because if I had to write a bunch, they would not be legible. I'm just gonna tell you.
I will say, Kim, you have beautiful handwriting, especially for a left-hander.
Yes, it's kind of nuts, it's signature for sure, kind of like the scarves, but yeah, when you think just like a note and a card is such a gift.
Yes.
And it's just, it just makes people smile.
It does. When you're not getting a bill in the mail and you can actually open something that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
There's one person that I buy products from, and it's brushes, and I've said this before, but it's like the president of the company, always writes a handwritten thank you note, and I'm like, they're big time, and I'm like, she does this probably with everybody. I know I'm not singled out, but it makes me feel like I want to give her more business because she's singling it out. You know what I mean? Like, she's writing me a handwritten note from her business. I think that's awesome.
That is really cool.
Look, can you hear my hey, Ray.
Yeah, make an appearance.
Can you get in?
Say hi.
Can you get in? Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
We love the dogs.
Puppies.
Look, I can't. He's like, what is going on?
Okay. You walk your dog every day, don't you?
Well, sometimes multiple times during the past few weeks. He's like, really, y'all? Is this necessary? But he's an office dog, so he goes to work with me on days that we're just in the office. He leads a life of great leisure and adventure.
Oh.
What is inviting? What's like the big thing inviting is working on right now? Like, what's coming up for the future of like next month?
Well, I'll tell you, like, just kind of visionary. We are looking forward to our 20th anniversary, which will be in a couple of years. So we've been serving the community for almost 2 decades. And, as we've all had a chance to reflect on what it means to be in business during these crazy times, we have kind of gone back through our archives. So we're excited. We'll be launching a little bit later this week a cover contest. We're pulling out some old covers.
Oh, fine.
This is part of, as we evolve and think about ways that we can support our nonprofit organizations and partnerships. We're going to revisit those stories, revisit those covers, and give our followers and our readers a chance to vote on their favorite cover. And then the nonprofit organization that's affiliated with that cover will win an ad in the magazine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
A fun way to revisit the past.
How many are you narrowing? Like, how many will you narrow it down to start?
It's 12. So
okay.
It's 1 January, 1 February, all the way through the year. But it's not in one given year. We kind of span some of the years and some of the photographers, and we wanted to make sure that we included as many of our nonprofit organizations as possible. So that's going to be fun. That's something everybody can watch for on social media.
I would love to see some really awesome vintage, I guess 20 years to me isn't that long ago, but it really is.
It is.
It is, but it's like 20 years ago. I can't wait to see the fashion on the cover.
I think that's excited.
That's going to be the most fun for me, is to just see what were they wearing?
Yes. Yeah.
What did their hair look like?
So that'll just be something fun that we're doing, and we're all just planning to have a busy season in the fall, and what that looks like might be different, but the most important part of our mission at Inviting Arkansas is to continue to support and garner support for these nonprofit organizations. The faces of philanthropy may change, but the need and the mission fulfillment work is still there, and how we all, collectively generate the support that these organizations need is going to have to change, just like the rest of everybody's business.
Yeah.
So it's unsettling, but it's exciting. We've seen what's come out of this with other business, and it's going to be good. Well, just as a little sneak peek for June, our cover for June will be a moment in history that cannot be recreated. It's a project that is that's going on right now. It'll be exciting, and
That's
it'll really.
cool.
It's a project that that's going to carry Arkansas and the region, into the future with really exciting things. So.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Perks of the job, being somewhere in just a moment of time that you won't necessarily have again. Like the Masked Project in this month's issue with Ashley Murphy and her project of taking pictures of people in their masks. 3 months ago, we would have never imagined that could possibly be editorial in the magazine. It didn't have any relevance. And all of a sudden, we, evolved some of the things that we were planning for the May issue to support restaurants and really kind of be an archive for the times that we're living through.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's a great way to think of it.
Yeah.
All right, so where can everybody find you and Inviting Arkansas, both Kim and Inviting?
Oh, yes. Well, we are easy to find at invitingarkansas.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter and Instagram, Inviting AR. I'm easy to find on Instagram at KPM Webb, WEBB. And I'm tagged in a lot of the Inviting Arkansas social media. So follow the fun. Our hashtag is certainly making philanthropy fun. And these days it's IA_shop dine local. follow us on Inviting Arkansas, and you can be connected with all of the excitement of our nonprofit community, be it arts, wellness. It's all there.
You're doing good things, Kim. We love it.
Well, it takes all of us pulling together, and certainly times like this make us realize how important partnerships and girl power really is.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to see you. My
Cocktails, our happy hour.
Corona crazy, but we'll still be babes supporting babes.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Thank you guys.
I hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.